Hey everyone, welcome to the Wisconsin Whistle. I'm your host, Dan Vachalek, aka Dyhard. Now, I was looking forward to the March Madness tournament for the state of Wisconsin, and Marquette lost round one to New Mexico 75-66. Wisconsin ended up winning round one 85-66 over Montana. Ends up losing to BYU in a tough battle 91-89. So both teams are out. Definitely had high hopes for the Badgers, but they're out. BYU looks like a very tough team that could go pretty far. So we'll see how they do. Games tomorrow night, 4 games tomorrow night in the March Madness tournament. So something to watch for. I know different people is still rooting for other teams. Maybe root for BYU because they beat Wisconsin. Want to lose to the winner. Tough games for the Bucks. They had a win against the Lakers. Then tough loss against the Suns and barely beat the Kings. Definitely rebounded nicely in the second half against the Kings, though, in order to come back and win that one. A lot to get into. The Brewers start tomorrow against the Yankees on ESPN at 2:05 p.m. So talk about that a little bit as well. Nothing going on with the NFL. With the Packers exactly. We did find out about their official proposal to ban the tush push, even though it did work with Tucker Kraft. They have officially proposed that. Some other proposals as well, but we'll leave that for, we'll wait until the results come back to see if those get passed. Kickoff alternatives and other stuff like that. The one thing that definitely is on the docket is overtime rules being the same in the regular season and in the postseason, which I definitely agree that should be happening. So we got a lot to get into. Stay tuned. Wisconsin Whistle. I'm your host, Dan Vachalek. Hey everyone, again, I'm your host, Dan Vachalek. You're listening to Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So some news that came out about the Bucks. Damian Lillard, he's missed a couple games so far. He does have a blood clot in his leg. He's out indefinitely. As history has shown, LaMarcus Aldridge and Chris Bosh had blood clots in their legs. They never played again once they discovered that. Wemby was out right after the All-Star break with blood clots in his leg. He's out for the rest of the season. So if we're going to get Dame back, that's going to be a prayer. I saw a report yesterday that said he should be back for the playoffs. I highly doubt that, just because he's just with blood clots is very, very difficult. It's actually life-threatening. So if he just takes his time and takes his blood thinning medication that he's on, if he's not back in time for the playoffs, that's okay. Just hope that he gets better and actually plays. Also tonight against the Nuggets, we will not have Giannis Antetokounmpo, so it'll be a fun, interesting game. Jokic, he'll probably have a 30, 20, 20. We'll probably lose by 20 or 30 points. And you'll see a lot of Ryan Rollins, probably AJ Green. I wouldn't be surprised if Pat gets some time in there. Maybe he unloads the bench. Maybe Doc actually uses the full bench tonight. We get to see a bunch of players who we never get to see. We'll see, though. Doc's been liking to use 3 bench players repetitively for the past couple of weeks, which has kind of been frustrating, especially since Sims went down. All we see is AJ Green get a whole bunch of minutes to do nothing except cardio. Kevin Porter Jr. gets some quality minutes, but then gets taken out after he goes on a run. Gary Trent Jr. has been getting minutes off the bench as well. Ryan Rollins has stepped up nicely overall, I'd say, outside of the Sacramento game. I guess it's only been 2 games. So he played well last night. The night before, sorry. He played well Monday against the Suns, I thought. Against the Kings, he disappeared. I mean, there was times in the game where him, AJ Green, and Trent Jr. were all combined 0 for 13 with like 10 threes, all misses, which was pretty disappointing until they kind of found their rhythm back in the fourth quarter, mainly Trent Jr. We'll get into all that. There's some frustrating things, some stuff I want to get off my chest about the Bucks, because the loss against the Suns was very frustrating, very disappointing, especially the way they lost. Allowing a wide open mid-range shot to Devin Booker with your slowest, tallest guy trying to guard him. It's just not smart. So got a lot to get into. You listen to Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iSportsRadio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We also have a new sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements at GetRawNutrition.com. You could use promo code IESR for 10% off. Definitely recommend that as a place to get all your supplements, your workout stuff. It's all natural as well, very nutritious. So definitely check them out. Don't sleep on that, especially if you like working out. There's a link below at Spreaker.com. You can support the show. That's always welcome. You could also follow me at Whistle IESR. So that's at WICSC Whistle IESR on X, formerly known as Twitter. Or you can follow my personal account at Dyhard, DYHARD. We have a comment I'll show from Taryn. He said the Wisconsin women's volleyball played yesterday at a road scrimmage against Hawaii, where they won 3-1. The two play again today at a high school in Hawaii. So anyone who's fans of volleyball, I really don't see a lot of volleyball, women's or men's. I don't see it on TV. Definitely need to check out Set Point with Taryn. He covers all of volleyball stuff. I don't see much on TV. I don't see much in the news to read about it, to actually learn and get into that. So Taryn knows all about volleyball. That's his stuff. Definitely check out Set Point with him. So the stuff I do know, basketball, baseball, football. Football is very slow period right now. Nothing's going on. I think spring practices have begun at Wisconsin. Nothing to note there. As far as baseball goes, the Brewers do play tomorrow. I'll get into that a little later in the show about their game tomorrow, their series, the season. Really excited for Jack Citation. I think he might be able to have a 30-30 season this year. Excited to see how Nestor Cortez does on a new team. Ready for Brandon Woodruff to come back. I'm excited for Jose Quintana. I liked him actually since he was on the Cubs. I've liked him for a long time. It was hard to root for him when he was on the Cubs, but it was hard to root for him when he played against us as well because he was very good against Milwaukee. So hopefully he takes that goodness against us and plays well for us. But the main topics that we're going to cover right now is what's going on tomorrow night and what's also going on tonight. The Bucks play tonight, like I said at the top of the show. Giannis is out. Dame has blood clots, so he is out indefinitely. Hopefully he could come back for the playoffs. With blood clots, that's just unrealistic, in my opinion. Wemby was ruled out at the All-Star break for the rest of the season. Chris Bosh and LaMarcus Aldridge, like I said, I don't think ever played again once they had blood clots. I saw some stat. I'm unsure of the facts of this, though. I'm not going to research it. I won't even know where to begin to research. But I saw something on Twitter that said there's been like 9 or 10 players with blood clots this season alone. And I believe that's like more than the history of the NBA or something like that, or more than the last 10 years combined, or some weird stat like that. And that's kind of alarming to me. But hopefully Damian Lillard gets back healthy soon. We can get him for the playoffs. I'm not fully confident on that. Speaking of March Madness, though, so Wisconsin ended up beating Montana, and that was actually a really well-played game by Wisconsin. I thought they shot the ball well. They shot 55% from the field. The threes, they didn't shoot the best, 30%, but they out-rebounded Montana and just looked a whole lot better than them. Basically everything that I said that, how I was portraying the game to be, Wisconsin really just completely outplayed them, was able to get some of their reserve guys, bench guys in the game. They almost won. They won by 19, almost 20 points. And that led to a matchup against BYU. Actually, I had some stats from the Montana game. The Badgers are 5-0 when 5 different players finished in double digits. That was the first time since their win against Purdue. 1.288 points per possession in the paint. Montana only had 0.985 points per possession in the paint. Wisconsin shot 62.5% in the second half, 55.4% for the game, second best ever in the tournament for Wisconsin. So those were some nice little notable stats that I wish that continued against BYU. However, against BYU, most of the game, and I'd probably say all of the game, now, if you look at the stats, it says 13 offensive rebounds for BYU, 28 defensive, 41 total. Wisconsin had 11 offensive, 21 defensive, and 32 for the game for total. Watching the game, it was not like that at all. It really felt like every time BYU went down the court, if they missed a shot, they were getting a second chance opportunity. It doesn't say how many second chance points on this stat. They had 38 points in the paint for BYU. They had 6 more fouls. They had 11 fast break points to none for Wisconsin. BYU also turned the ball over 6 more times. And honestly, they just outplayed Wisconsin completely for most of the game until, late in the second half when Wisconsin mounted a little bit of a comeback. BYU actually had, so this is interesting, they had 9 first half offensive rebounds, which definitely showed in taking an 11-point lead into halftime. 24 bench points total for BYU. Wisconsin had 3. So that's definitely a big difference there as well. And then there was a point right before halftime where Steven Crowell took a shot, about 13, 14 seconds left. BYU rebounded it, and Trevin Neal, or Keneal, just call him Neal. Trevin Neal drilled a 3 before half, and that kind of swung in was BYU's favor there. I think it was like a 6-point swing instead. Now the Steven Crowell taking that shot with 13 seconds left is notable because they didn't have the shot clock on. So you could have literally kept the ball for 12 more seconds before you tried to throw up a shot and left BYU with no time. And that's really the smart decision. When you lose by 2 points, little stuff like that will add up. There was a technical foul called on the bench. I guess 2 assistants stood and stomped their feet or something. BYU ended up hitting both free throws on the technical foul, including a shot, I think, before that. Again, those 2 points in a 2-point game matter. Just those 2 instances that I'm talking about were 5-point swings there. BYU having that 3 before halftime, and then the 2 free throws made on the technical foul on the bench. That's 5 points in a 2-point game, kind of makes the difference at the end of the game. And that's what the tournament's all about, is limiting mistakes. And you make mistakes, you're gonna really cost yourself. Badgers have been one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. They left 6 at the line. BYU was 15 of 16 from the line. So they converted every time they were to the line. Wisconsin left 6 points at the line. And again, 6 plus these extra 5, that's 11 points right there that they kind of gave away, I'll say. And that matters. BYU now gets to face Alabama, which is going to be a very, very tough game because BYU seems very, very good. Their offense flies. Their offense is super good. I mean, they could score. I mean, watching the game, it was literally just them scoring nonstop. I mean, they got 14 from Trevin Neal. Igor Demon had 11. Kiba Kiati had 10. And Richie Saunders was their leading scorer with 25. And they shot almost 50% from the field, but they shot 46.2% from three. If you can't stop threes, it's hard to win that game, especially in close games, especially when you can't get stops overall, slow them down. When the Badgers needed a stop, they couldn't get it. They couldn't get it. It just seemed like, it was – I'm sorry, I hit a button and I don't know what happened. It just seemed really, really just poor play. The only person who scored off the bench was Carter Gilmore in 22 minutes. Janecki had 2 missed free throws. Kamari McGee had 3 missed shots from the field. Xavier Amos also had 3 missed shots from the field, but 2 of those were missed threes. And he played 6 minutes and did absolutely nothing. Jack Janicki at least had an offensive rebound. And Kamari McGee racked up 3 fouls in 14 minutes off the bench, including the turnover, and had 2 rebounds. He had 2 steals, though, so I'll give him that. But nobody had more than 5 rebounds. Steven Crowell and Blackwell. Blackwell had 21 points. He 6 of 14 from the field. Steven Crowell had 10. Klesmit had 12. John Tanji had 37. And speaking of John Tanji, that last play that could have tied the game, or if you kick it out, or take a 3 instead, would have won it. I'm not happy with what shot decision he made. You're very crowded up against a player. He's right on you. And instead of kicking it out to Blackwell or Klesmit or even, finding Crowell or anybody, you forced up a, 7-8 foot fadeaway that didn't even hit the rim. It was a very, very disappointing shot. I know a lot of people said, oh, yeah, well, who else do you want to take the shot? Well, Blackwell or Klesmit, first of all. Also, I don't believe that was the best opportunity for the Badgers. I believe that everyone knew Tanji was going to get the ball. BYU knew it as well. Everyone knew he was going to take that shot. And letting him do that shot, take that, and, that was unacceptable to me. I know you don't want to be too hard on somebody, especially after they just had 37 points on 10 of 18 from the field. But, he could have settled for a 3. But I definitely think he should have kicked it out to someone. He had a little bit of time to kick it out to someone instead of forcing up that horrible shot where you have someone basically barreling down on you. And it was just a bad decision to end the game. You could also make the argument that the Badgers should have never been in that position at all. And I agree. They should have got some stops and been able to kind of control the game a little bit. They did have a nice second half. But, that shot at the end definitely was a big talking point. And, he should have just chose better. I think he should have kicked that ball out to someone else, let someone else take the game winner. And move on, because I definitely think that was a winnable game for Wisconsin, despite BYU shooting as well as they did, despite BYU, being almost automatic from the free throw line. I also think that the Badgers would have had a chance in overtime. That was what I was hoping for before that play, was for them to make it to overtime. Before I get into Marquette, staying on the Wisconsin Badgers and in overtime, the Wisconsin women's hockey Badgers team, I think it's just the Badgers, the women hockey beat Ohio State for the national championship. I believe that game was on Sunday. That was a fantastic game. There was a foul, or I'm not really sure what the penalty shot, I guess, at the end of the game for the Lady Badgers, Wisconsin women's hockey team. And there was a penalty shot, and that caused a lot of back and forth. I know IE Sports Radio TikTok had people arguing in the comments about she stopped moving. Again, I don't pay attention to. I pay attention kind of like I look and see what they're doing, but I don't really know the players' names. But they said that the player had stopped moving on the penalty shot, and that's just incorrect. That she didn't stop moving. She was moving the entire time, kept motion going, was able to convert that penalty shot and send it into overtime. And it wasn't a couple minutes into overtime, but the Badgers had scored and won the national championship. So congratulations to them. They were number one in the country for most of the season. They're an absolute powerhouse. I believe that was their 8th national championship in the history of women's hockey, in Badgers women's hockey. So they're an absolute powerhouse. Ohio State's also a very well-known, very good historically in women's hockey as well. It was a great game all the way through from start to finish. I thought that Wisconsin was actually going to lose until that power shot or that penalty shot. And it was fun. It was a fun game. I don't really watch too much women's hockey. I don't really watch too much college hockey in general. But to watch that game, that was really fun. That was super fun. And I'm really happy for them. And, you know, to end that debate on if she was moving or not, because it's against the rules for a player to stop moving on a penalty shot. She was moving the entire time. You could slow-mo the video. You could, you know, rewatch it any different way. But she was moving the entire time. She's done that same exact move multiple times throughout the season in different penalty shots. So, you know, give credit where due, and credit's definitely due for the Wisconsin women's hockey team. And they won the national championship after a fantastic season. So congratulations to all of them. I don't know if there's a women's hockey league. I think they just go overseas and play. I really have no idea what happens after college for women's hockey, but you know, if any of those players, it is their last game, you know, they get to end on a super high note, and they should be very proud of each other. But switching back to basketball, Marquette, they ended the season pretty bad, pretty much all the way around. They ended the season, you know, not good at all. Ever since their three-game losing streak against UConn, St. John's, and Creighton, Marquette has just not looked very good. They ran the same lineup throughout the entire year, which I don't think anybody has done in college basketball this year. Yeah, they beat DePaul and Seton Hall and Providence and Georgetown. Since then, they beat Xavier by 2 points, who was a fringe tournament team. Actually, they did make it. They did make it to the tournament by beating Texas and played Illinois, which they lost. But, you know, Wisconsin lost to UConn multiple times. They lost to St. John's 3 different times. St. John's ended up getting beat by Arkansas. Rick Pitino's son, Richard Pitino, but his son was the New Mexico head coach. Marquette also lost to them, so they're 0-4 against the Pitino family this season. But just how Marquette ended the season is just you kind of saw it coming. I thought they would have beat New Mexico. I thought they would have at least played Michigan State. But they don't get the opportunity to play Michigan State. They didn't get the opportunity, rather. They just were bad. It was bad all around. They looked flat. They looked unenergetic. You know, they did shoot the ball pretty good, I'd say. 40% from the field, 36% from 3. 58% from the free throw line is ridiculous. 7 of 12 from the line. That's unacceptable completely. You deserve to lose a game. You do that. They were outscored in the paint by 12 points. And they just didn't look good. They didn't look good at all. Nobody looked like they had a lot of energy going into the game, playing the entire game. Yeah, 28 points from Joplin. Cam Jones had 15. But after that, you didn't really get much from anybody. Ben Gold was 3 of 8 from 3. That was all he took. Chase Ross had 5 points. Stevie Mitchell was 1 of 7 from the field with 3 points. Ben Gold actually fouled out. He had 5 fouls. It was just a bad game overall. Joplin had 4 turnovers, but he had 28 points, so he was the highlight of the team, 6 of 10 from 3. Without him, Cam Jones is supposed to be the star. He played all 40 minutes, and he didn't look like the star. 6 of 14, 1 of 4 from 3. He did have 5 rebounds and 5 assists, but 4 turnovers for him as well, only 15 points. New Mexico just really outplayed Marquette completely. I mean, it was full out all the way around. Donovan Dent played well, 21 points. Nelly Jr. Joseph, who I did mention, went 7 of 10, 19 points. He had 7 rebounds. Mustafa Mzil had 8 rebounds. He only had 4 points, didn't make a shot in the field, all free throws. Their bench only had 11 points, and that was just from CJ Noland. He went 4 of 6, 3 of 4 from the field. Their bench outside of him only played a total of 15 minutes. Jovan Milicevic had 6. Atiki had 7 minutes. Katie Dotson and Braden Applehands both had 1 each, 1 minute each. But, they didn't really play. The bench didn't really play, and they didn't need the bench to play. And this is what happens when you face tough teams that, aren't. New Mexico is known. They have a top. They have a D1, major football program. Whether they've been garbage for years or, improving, whatever, that's not the case. But, New Mexico isn't really well known in basketball for being the best. At least from, in recent years and stuff that I've been paying attention, I really haven't seen New Mexico as like a team to watch for. They might be better than what my perception is. That's just my perception on them. They did go 27-7 this season, but they completely outplayed Marquette. And that's what happens when you hit the tournament, especially when you're not playing well. And they completely lost. And I don't have really any more stats or anything else to say other than, Shaka Smart. I could kind of see why he got let go from Texas, because his tournament, the end of the year for this year, was very disappointing, especially, Marquette had this great start. They were on fire. They were running. They beat top teams. They ended up beating Purdue by almost 20 when Purdue was ranked 6th. They beat Wisconsin by 14. They were playing super well. They ran through a tournament earlier in this season. They beat Georgia. Granted, Georgia got ran over by Gonzaga, but they beat Georgia by 11. They played a tough game against Iowa State. They unfortunately lost to Dayton throughout the year. But, the start of the Big East as well, very good games being played. And I definitely thought Marquette, was going to put up more of a fight against New Mexico, and they really didn't. Even though the game was only 9 points, it wasn't that close. The score definitely is misleading on that. Marquette's just got to take this offseason to hit the portal, regroup. They need a big. They need a true big, not a Ben Gold that kind of disappears for a lot of the season and then appears in random games. They need more depth, and they need to rely on more people other than Cam Jones. David Joplin they could rely on as well, but Stevie Mitchell disappeared in a lot of games. Joplin, he might appear, might not, but Joplin and Cam Jones were the 2 all-stars of the team, I think, in my opinion at least. And Marquette's got to figure it out. I think there needs to be a nice talk with Shaka as well that, he's got to hit the portal. They got to change how they recruit and, see how next year leads up to and what they could do in the portal in the offseason. And that's about it for college basketball. Right now we have the rest of the tournament, so whoever you're rooting for, I saw some people saying they're rooting for BYU. Other people are just rooting for their brackets. I'm rooting for my bracket, so however my bracket plays out is who I'm rooting for. Granted, I had Wisconsin all the way to the Final Four. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So, in that conference, because I have Houston going all the way to the championship game, I'm going to root for Duke this game against Arizona. But I'm going to root for BYU. I'm going to root for BYU to make it to the Final Four. I think Houston could beat BYU. So I'm going to root for them. Duke's a very tough team, so I don't want to watch a nail biter like that, with regards to my bracket at least. So, I'm going to be rooting for BYU to make it to the Final Four, and then I picked Auburn to win it all. So, that's the team I'm going to be rooting for completely. It's Auburn to win it all. And let me know in the comments who you got to win it all, who you're rooting for as Wisconsin fans, Marquette fans. Once we're out, we're out. So we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk the Bucks, unfortunately, is not positive what I have to say about things, some frustrations. And then we'll get into a little bit of the Brewers. I know I said in the past I was going to do a big preview show. Just haven't had the time to really set up a big preview show. But, they do start tomorrow, so we'll cover that a little bit. I don't want to leave them hanging. It's a fun series against the Yankees, and they're on ESPN for opening day, which I don't think the Brewers have ever been on ESPN for opening day that I can remember, unless it was years ago. So that's super exciting. Plus, it's against the Yankees, which is always fun to watch, at least for me. I know they're always on MLB Network, so on ESPN a lot, so you watch them nonstop. But I like watching the Brewers play the Yankees. It's something I never saw growing up. So it's fun now. But you're listening to Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr. I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Everybody, this is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Wisconsin Whistle. Again, I'm your host, Dan Vachalek. We'll just start with the Brewers because I'm going to hold off on trying to talk so negatively about the Bucks because I could talk forever for them. But Brewers will play tomorrow against the Yankees at 2 o'clock. Some big notes against, at least for the Brewers against the Yankees. It's going to be Nestor Cortez. He's going to start game 2. We have Freddie Peralta taking the bound tomorrow. Nestor Cortez will take game 2 on Saturday, and Aaron Civale will take Sunday. After that, the Brewers' rotation is kind of a question mark. Fortunately, Tobias Myers, Aaron Ashby, D.L. Hall are all sidelined with injury. Brandon Woodruff's about a month away. Jose Quintana still isn't stretched out enough. He has 2 minor league options remaining. So do they send him to the minors just to get him ready? Unsure. Chad Patrick, a right-hander, he does make the opening day roster. So, he's an option. Tyler Alexander, Elvin Rodriguez, Connor Thompson. Those are all options as well to start after game 3. So for the Brewers, trying to figure out what's going on is going to be very, very difficult. They don't have to set their roster until Thursday morning. So it's something to keep your eyes on. Also, which prohibited me from doing a proper preview because we don't know who's actually going to finish, as players on the official roster to start off the year. And with injuries, that's definitely going to change and, move around. But Isaac Collins, he's probably going to be on the roster. Jake Bowers, he's made the roster as well. For players that we do know. So those are nice things as well. Chad Patrick actually won the pitching Triple Crown last season at AAA Nashville. So, he definitely deserves a call-up. Let's see. He had a 14-1 record, 2.9 ERA, and 146 strikeouts in 24 starts with 26 total appearances. And he's going to be turning 27. So that's really cool. I'm happy to see him on the roster. He'll probably do game 4 for the Brewers. But as far as the Yankees series goes, especially against the Yankees, we're going to see Nestor Cortez facing his old team, game 2. We'll probably end up facing Devin Williams at some point in this series. Even if the Brewers are winning all 3 games, I can't believe that they're not going to have Devin Williams face his old team. At least at the start, at game 2 or game 3, at least to give him, an inning to pitch or something. Carlos Rodon is going to be the starting pitcher for the Yankees. Kind of had a shaky season last year, and the spring was not good for him. I think he had like a 5 or 6 ERA, high whip, just a lot of walks. It's not the best situation for the Yankees, but Rodon definitely has to set the tone for them, which I hope the Brewers can, set a bad tone because Garrett Cole's out, Lucas Gill's out, Clark Schmidt's out, Max Fried is in, and, that's a challenging thing for the Yankees for their pitching staff, especially with, especially their, Garrett Cole, their big man. Lucas Gill is supposed to have a good season. He's going to be out for, I think, a couple months. But Max Fried, he hasn't been confirmed to start yet, but I think he will start probably Saturday or Sunday. He has a 2.67 ERA and 5 career starts against the Brewers. He just signed the largest contract to a left-handed pitcher in MLB history. He's a very good pitcher. Someone to also watch is Christian Yelich. He had a great spring, batted .353 with 3 homers. He's also coming off a season where he dealt with back injuries that limited him for most of the season and actually eliminated him from the season at some point. I can't remember when that was, but he missed a good portion of the season with that injury. So that's something to watch. Jackson Chourio has also been raking. I think he neared 500 batting average for the spring training. So he's someone to watch. I think he could definitely push 30-30, if not have another 2020 season. Another player to watch for the Yankees is Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt. Those are newcomers. So, a lot of times newcomers, especially if you're going to the Yankees, you want to start off on a good note and have positive energy from, all your fans. So those players are definitely going to come out ready to fire ready to go. It's not going to be the warmest. It's New York, and it's March 27th, March 29th, and March 30th. So I'm not expecting 80-degree weather. You're coming from Phoenix, or you're coming from Florida. It's very nice down there. You're going up to New York to play. It's not going to be the greatest. The Yankees will also not have Juan Soto just because he went across town to the Mets. So it will be kind of a revamped Yankees offense, and it will be a revamped Brewers offense as well because the Brewers lost Willie Adames. The Brewers lost Willie Adames to the Giants. They lost Devin Williams as their closer. So, they kept most of the bullpen kind of intact, but I'm trying to pull this up here. But they have new players here. They have Joey Ortiz. I believe he's going to play shortstop. Bryce Turang, he was dealing with a nagging injury a little bit. Vinny Capra, he could play third. I believe he's going to play third to start off. He's had a great spring. I know he had a couple homers that really, really surprised me on how well he played. So he's definitely going to be. He's been announced that he'll be on the opening day roster, which is I love to see that. Not sure if Abner Uribe or Trevor McGill is going to get the closer role, unless Brian Hudson might. I don't know. I have no idea what the Brewers are going to do at closer. Maybe rotation right now. Definitely look forward to William Contreras having another fantastic season. I'm kind of expecting Rice Hoskins to step up a little bit, contribute more, at least at the plate. Garrett Mitchell, Sal Frelick, to all have nice seasons. Super excited for Jackson Churio, like I said. We'll see how everything goes. I believe Eric Haas has also made the opening day roster as a backup catcher, so that'll be fun to watch him if he gets a chance. I know William Contreras likes to play a lot, doesn't like to take off days. So this is going to be a fun season. I know a lot of predictions have the Brewers definitely taking a step back, I'd say, and miss the playoffs. I think the Brewers could still make the playoffs. I think winning the NL Central is going to be a little tough, just with rotational pieces missing, injured. Then with a new lineup, have to find their identity. But I think with a lot of young players who are going to I think they're going to need to step up. Obviously, learn to deal with the cold streaks and the hot streaks during a very, very long season, 162 games. So, I'm definitely have confidence in the Brewers. The past couple of years, they've been able to win the NL Central and make something out of nothing. So, I'm definitely very confident in the Brewers. And tomorrow, again, they play tomorrow at 2 p.m. on ESPN for opening day. So definitely tune in wherever you are, record it, however you want to do it. But, definitely recommend watching. Switching gears in Milwaukee to a team that's ending their season and the playoffs are nearing at the end of next month are the Milwaukee Bucks. They were able to have a dominating victory against the Lakers since the last show. And Kyle Kuzma had 20 points, had a very nice game. Gary Trent Jr., 6 of 10 from 3, 23 points, super nice game. Kind of unloaded their bench. Pete Nance and Pat Connaughton and Andre Jackson Jr. all played 7 minutes. Chris Livingston and Tyler Smith also saw some action. This was also a game that the Lakers were sitting a lot of players. LeBron, Luka, Reeves, Austin Reeves. So Bronny James was able to ball out, and he really did. 30 minutes, he was 7 of 10 from the field, 17 total points. Dalton Connect, 17 points to 5 of 14 from the field. Those were the two leading scorers. And, it was kind of a boring game. Bucks won pretty handily. They started off 34-19 at the end of the first and just kept it going from there. And there was a couple points in the time where it was a closer game than I would have liked, but to round out the game by third quarter, Bucks pulled away and it was over from there. Another game that they played in the state of California was against the Sacramento Kings, And again, a guy who really people don't really look at too much, Keon Ellis. He went off 6 of 10 with 20 points. All their starters had, 22 for DeRozan, 13 for Murray, 18 for Valanciunas, 16 for Levine, and 20 for Keon Ellis. They also were without Malik Monk and Sabonis, which to win by 6, and they're without, I'd say, 2 of their top 3. Sabonis obviously is their best player, and I think Malik Monk is probably their 3rd best player in between, DeRozan, Levine. There's, just to almost lose, have to have a big comeback in the second half is kind of disappointing. They had a really, really slow start, turnovers. There was a point in the game. I'm trying to see where it is. It's right here. Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, and Gary Trent Jr. have taken a total of 12 shots, 10 threes, 0 points. They missed several wide open catch and shoot threes. It just, wasn't good until AJ Green made a 3. Actually, pretty much right after I notated what it was, made a 3. Then all of a sudden after that, Gary Trent started to get into the loop and make some threes. And when they rebounded and came back, that was, what they should have been doing the entire game. There was a play that I wanted to note as well. So they were kind of from the sideline. Kevin Porter Jr. was throwing it in. He kind of looped it over the Kings defender. I can't remember who the Kings defender was, but he looped it over to Giannis. Giannis drove. He ended up getting completely stuffed at the rim. As he's falling backwards, he somehow was able to get it to Trent Jr., who cashed that corner 3. And that just gave the Bucks that – it was like a minute left in the fourth, too. It just kind of secured that victory for the Bucks, I think. And, they ended up finishing with a very nice game overall. Some stats to note. Gary Trent finished 3 of 8 from 3. Again, how I noted, they did not shoot the ball well. So for him to finish with 3 for 8, 4 of 11 from the field is nice. Ryan Rollins did not make a shot. AJ Green made 1 shot. Kevin Porter Jr. and AJ Green again matched minutes. And this is where I'm going to lead into the Suns' loss. AJ Green, I don't really know why he keeps getting minutes at the rate that he does. But AJ Green is kind of a waste of time. Against the Suns, he went 1 of 5, 0 for 4 from 3, and got 21 minutes, continued to match Kevin Porter Jr.'s minutes. Now, Porter was not that good against the Suns. He went 2 of 9 and 1 for 5 from 3, which is okay. You could have some off nights. He only had 1 turnover as well, which is fine. AJ Green did have some nice defensive possessions. But the fact that, you lost ultimately because Brook Lopez was guarding Devin Booker. And Brook Lopez is slow. He's slow. He's a sloth. And he's not going to keep up with Booker. And you basically let Phoenix with, I think it was 1 second or 2 seconds left, be able to cash in a mid-range, free, wide open mid-range shot to win the game. That's completely unacceptable. And I believe that the fall lands all on Doc. You had Brook Lopez play 42 minutes. And you think that at the end of the game, after 42 minutes of playing, he's good. I mean, he had a good game. I watched him do a lot of different moves down low. He was, 10 rebounds, 23 points, 8 of 14 from 3 wasn't the best, but he was 5 of 6 from the line. And I thought overall he had a very good game. But keeping him on the floor and not putting Andre Jackson Jr. in falls on Doc Rivers. It really falls on him. Why not go small? They're going to give it to Durant or Booker, 2 fast guys. They're pretty fast. If they give it to Durant, he could shoot over anyone. So let Giannis cover him. We're good. We're good to go there. They give it to Booker. You should not have Brook Lopez on Booker. That's stupid and idiotic. That's the most dumbest. It's just stupid. Put Andre Jackson Jr. in. I don't know what the hell he's done to Doc Rivers, but ever since that All-Star game or All-Star dunk contest where he kind of just disappointed everyone, he just never played. And I don't understand what the reasoning for that is. I don't understand where Sims and Portis are both out. And instead of, utilizing the bench, we just run minutes through everyone. Torian Prince, 28, Giannis, 37, Kuzma, 34, Lopez, 42, Rollins, 26, Gary Trent, 31, Porter, 22, AJ Green, 21. That's it. That's all we play. Phoenix played 5 different players off the bench. I don't understand why moving, Oso Iguodala, Marquette player from last season, he played 19 minutes. Grayson Allen played 12. Royce O'Neal, 13. Cody Martin, 14. Tyus Jones, 25. Gillespie, 22 minutes. And Ryan Dunn had a couple dunks. He had a dunk on Giannis because Giannis was the only player that wanted to get back on defense at that time or even try to get back on defense. Well, Lopez has some nice moves. He had that reverse dunk, the reverse layup. He was cleaning stuff up. There was a time where Kevin Porter Jr. seemed to be the only guy trying to cover the perimeter. He was trying to guard 2 guys at once. That was when Durant hit a wide open 3. Also, not really sure why they didn't call a flagrant on that play where they shoved Giannis. It was by Royce O'Neal. He had just elbowed the shit out of Giannis, kind of forearm like this and shoved into him and stuff. And that was not a basketball move. The fact that it wasn't reviewed for a flagrant 1 was kind of ridiculous to me. And that definitely should have been a flagrant or even a flagrant 2. It wasn't a basketball move at all. Definitely could have injured Giannis at that point. No idea what would have happened. And trying to take him out like that is just unacceptable. It kind of lowball. And my respect for Royce O'Neal is limited, almost to nothing. Not really sure what type of move or why you did that, but that just has no place in the game and definitely should have been penalized like what it was a non-basketball move that, didn't deserve just a regular foul. That deserved definitely more than that. But my main problem that I have to talk about, and we'll see tonight, as I said, Giannis is not playing. I'm actually going to look right now to see. They don't have, I guess the roster has not been announced, the starting lineup for tonight's game that I've seen. Nope, hasn't been announced yet. But we'll see who starts in place of Giannis. But AJ Green, again, this isn't going to be a good indicator for minutes and, putting them in and stuff. But AJ Green needs to just see the bench he needs the Andre Jackson Jr. treatment, honestly. He really contributes nothing. He plays minutes. He just takes away minutes from, honestly, I'd rather have Rollins in than AJ Green. I'd rather have Kevin Porter Jr. in. I'd rather have Andre Jackson Jr. in over AJ Green. He can't make shots. I think he's shooting like 30% in the last 12 games. Last 10, he's shooting 27.8 from 3 and 31% from the field with 3.7 points per game and almost 2 fouls a game. You're not good. Honestly, you're not good. I don't see what Doc sees in him. Keep giving him 20-some minutes a game, but put him on the bench. That really needs to happen. AJ Green needs to sit on the bench. Like, he could play 5 to 10 minutes, but extended periods of time, like 20-plus, is just unacceptable, in my opinion. They say he's a sharpshooter. The only thing you should be sharpshooting is the bench, because there's no reason for you to be sitting on the court. You do nothing except cardio. I could go out there and run back and forth. That solves nothing. You don't really help offensively at all. I'd definitely play Andre Jackson Jr. because Andre Jackson Jr. in the last 10 has played 3.4 minutes per game, in only 5 games. The last time he saw the court was 7 minutes against the Lakers, 5 minutes in their blowout loss to OKC, 2 minutes against the Lakers and their 20-point win, and 3 minutes against the Cavs. That's it. I mean, you don't even give him a chance. And what's funny is in 3 minutes he had 2 rebounds and an assist. Against OKC, he had 2 points with 2 rebounds. He did have a turnover and 2 fouls, though. Against the Lakers, in 7 minutes, he had 2 rebounds and assists, 2 steals, and 3 points, and was 100% from the field. I don't get what he did to not see playing time, but, me and a couple friends were making jokes that we're going to see Pat Connaughton get like 20 minutes. AJ Green's going to get like 35, 30. Ryan Rollins is going to get the same. Porter's probably going to get like 25, 20. Probably 15 or something stupid. Or he might just run with the same people. You're going to see Ryan Rollins and AJ Green get like 40 minutes and stuff, and, we won't see anybody else. We'll just have 2 bench players play the whole game. Gary Trent and Kevin Porter will probably come off the bench, and that's it. Something stupid. I have no confidence in Doc Rivers at all anymore. Honestly, after the Suns game, I got to see my exact comment, but I was pretty, I don't know. I don't think Doc could cut it with playing 3 bench players a night, or he's just lazy. No idea why, he thinks about any of that. I actually think that Doc Rivers is going to get fired at the end of this season and knows it. I actually said after the game, fire Doc tonight. I wouldn't be mad if Giannis wanted out after this year. Brooks shouldn't have been in there. We cannot continue playing 3 bench players only and not look at some other free agent options or the rest of the bench. It's a lot wrong in Milwaukee. There is a lot wrong. It is what it is. I don't know if maybe getting Portis and Sims back is going to solve it. I don't know if, taking AJ Green out is going to solve it. The one thing I have noticed is Giannis does look like he has a lot more energy. He's happier. It seems like he has more motivation with Dame out of the lineup. It just looks different from Giannis. Giannis definitely should be top 2 MVP consideration, honestly, because he has to carry the Bucks by himself. Pretty much by himself. Against the Suns, I think he had like 19 points in the third quarter or something, finished with 30-some. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm right. Oh, they don't say. But he had a big third quarter. He had 31 points. Lopez had 23. So, obviously you're going to see Durant and Booker score points. So there's nothing wrong with that. Kyle Kuzma, he hasn't been very good, actually, in the last couple games, which is kind of disappointing. Lopez also missing one of his free throws at 10 seconds was impactful. It didn't end up mattering at all because it just didn't matter at all. But Budenholzer was doing the Haka Giannis thing, or started to a little bit, and that worked. Giannis didn't convert, especially when he did get fouled there. The big thing, though, is Phoenix actually out-rebounded the Bucks by 16 rebounds. When you get out-rebounded like that, there's an issue. Phoenix also was 16 of 18 from the free throw line, shot 38% from 3 and 47% from the field. So they shot better, rebound better, offense and defensively. They had way more turnovers, but they had 27 points. They let up 27 points. So they conceded 27 points. The Bucks scored 27 points off of turnovers, and they only allowed 6. Bucks also dominated with fast break points, 17-4. However, having Lopez guard Booker was the reason that really, really, really had a problem with that. I want to see if maybe I could see like breakdown. No, I cannot. I'd have to dig for that. But Giannis's last 5 games, 31 points, 32 points, 28 points, 20, and 21 points. It's kind of disappointing when Giannis is the only one that seems to really be, putting his all out there. Last 10 games, 27 points, 11.4 rebounds, shooting 57% from the field, 63% from the free throw line. And Kyle Kuzma, last 10 games, shooting 26% from 3, and 65% from the free throw line, which is rather disappointing to see that he can't make his free throws. It's also very disappointing to see that he continues to take shots from the 3 routinely and makes a quarter of them. So, some things that I'm going to be looking for in the next week. Tonight, kind of a wash, just because they're playing the Nuggets without Giannis or Dame, and then Portis and Sims are out, obviously. But when Giannis gets back in the lineups, some things that I'm going to be looking for is Kuzma to stop taking threes, focus more on down low and mid-range shots, get some more boards. Brook Lopez to stay down low, because that clearly worked, especially when he's near the basket. If you stop taking threes, you see what works. AJ Green to sit on the bench, just sit there. You don't even have to take off the warm-ups. You could keep him on, but he definitely needs his minutes cut. I want to see Andre Jackson Jr. in the lineup a little bit, if anything, for his defense and rebounding abilities. Kevin Porter Jr. to get some more minutes. It's a lot of times when all of a sudden we get a run going, and then all of a sudden, there's a timeout and Kevin Porter Jr. is out of the game. What happened? Where'd he go? And as soon as that run stops, because Kevin Porter's out of the game, now it's an opposite run. And that's just stupid. I think Kevin Porter Jr. should get some more minutes. Kuzma needs to stop taking threes. AJ Green could go sit on the bench because he's useless. He's frustrating. He pisses everyone off every time he's on the floor. Lopez needs to stay down low more. Giannis, just keep doing your thing. Ryan Rollins, he's not bad. Outside of the game against the Kings last night, let me pull it up, because I thought Ryan Rollins had a pretty nice game last night. He was 2 of 3 from the field at 26 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 points. I mean, he did have 4 turnovers, but I thought Ryan Rollins kind of, he was a little positive, actually. It was nicer to see, him contribute positively. Still don't agree that he needs a lot of minutes. I think those could go to Kevin Porter Jr. more. But Ryan Rollins does contribute. I like seeing him play. He's not the greatest, but I don't expect a whole lot from him. Taurean Prince, he's kind of slow. Again, last Monday, I think it was Monday, they 1 of 5. Last 10 games, though, he's been shooting 41% from 3. So, Taurean Prince can keep his minutes going. But Lopez, his minutes, definitely can't be playing 42 minutes. Definitely can't be playing 38 minutes. I'd say max him at 35 and call it a day. But he's got to stay down low. Kuzma's got to stop taking threes. Giannis just keep doing his thing. Taurean Prince, you're going to have some off nights. That's fine. Keep doing your thing. Ryan Rollins, switch him and Kevin Porter Jr., in my opinion, or Gary Trent. Gary Trent, keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. AJ Green could definitely go sit on the bench, though. Andre Jackson Jr., I'd like to see in the lineup. I don't think it would hurt to see Tyler Smith play a little bit, just as rest points. Pete Nance is 6'11". I don't think it would hurt to see him get a couple minutes either, just because, you got to figure out something to do for the last month of the season without Portis and without Sims, without Dame. You just got to play some more of your bench. Let the starters get some more rest before the, postseason happens. Because if Dame's not there for the postseason, it's going to be very, 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 very hard to beat anybody that you play outside of, pretty much it'll just be very hard for the Bucks to beat anyone in the playoffs in a 7-game series. The Pacers, obviously, they play very neck and neck. if the Bucks get the 5 seed, they'll be playing the Pacers. If they fall behind the Pistons, they'll get the 6 seed to play the Knicks. That's pretty much the 2 likely scenarios that the Bucks are going to be either facing, is they're either going to face the Pacers or the Knicks. And, you know, they're not going to beat either team if they play like how they played against the Suns. I'm not even sure if they're going to beat either team just overall without Dame. It's just been, you know, if they keep the course, if Doc Rivers just plays very lazily with the lineup, takes players out when they're kind of hot, you know, puts Giannis back on a minutes restriction, which is stupid to me, especially when Giannis sits there repetitively. It tells Doc, no, I'm not coming out of the game, and Doc still says, nope, you coming, and takes him out. You know, it's kind of disappointing to see. Like, that's your star player. If he wants to continue playing, you know, the minutes restriction goes to the side. You keep him playing. So we'll see how they play tonight without Giannis and Dame. That'll be a little telling on, you know, who else out from the bench, because I think this is going to be a 20-point loss. I think we're going to see the whole bench play tonight, actually. And we're going to see, you know, who could cut it? Who could cut it from the bench? Hopefully we get to see the whole bench. You know, just take it like that. Just play the whole bench and see who could legit play, who you could replace AJ Green with, who you could give some more minutes to give some starters some rest, who you could play that alleviates players overall, because playing 3 bench players overall continuously night after night, you're not going to go far. You're going to drain everybody. And by the time, you know, April hits, or I mean, by the time May hits, when it's playoff basketball, everyone's going to be tired except Giannis and maybe Kuzma. Everyone's going to be tired. Lopez is going to be tired. You know, it's been a long season. You could have wear him down. And, you know, you injure another guy. If Lopez gets injured, you don't have a big besides Giannis, maybe Kuzma. You got to play Pete Nance for 40 minutes a game. You know, I would get rid of. I'm banking on Bucks getting rid of Doc after the end of the year. And they definitely have some changes that they need to make tonight. You know, figure out what bench you could play. Figure out what players could play, get them in the lineup, get them some minutes, figure out how you want to construct your lineup. This is a good time without Giannis and Dame. Basically, just throw this game away. If they win, I'll be shocked, absolutely shocked. But, you know, this is a good game to see what your bench has and who else you could play, because AJ Green's not cutting it for 20-some minutes a game, almost 30 minutes a game. He's not cutting it. He does cardio the whole time. Lopez, you can't play him 40 minutes a game. You just can't. You're gonna wear him down where he just breaks, honestly. Kuzma needs to stop hitting threes. I mean, please hit threes. Make them. If you shoot them, make them. But he needs to stop shooting threes. And he just has to play more bench players. And it's not Pat. Don't add Pat. Pat Connaughton is not the bench guy to add. You know, it's the rest. Andre Jackson Jr., I definitely want to see him play more. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he just, you know, told Doc he's an idiot. You should be fired. And Doc's like, well, I'm not going to play you anymore. I don't know what happened, but we'll see. We'll see how the Brewers do tomorrow. Go Brewers. We'll start having MLB talk every week, recap on the week for the Brewers. It'll be interesting to see how I could figure how to talk about a week of baseball, especially if they play every day in that week. That'll be 6-7 games to talk about. So, but it's the start of baseball season tomorrow. Go Brewers. Freddie Peralta against Nestor Cortez. Freddie Peralta against Carlos Rodon. Nestor Cortez gets the ball game 2 for the Brewers. But Freddie Peralta versus Carlos Rodon tomorrow, ESPN, 2:05 p.m. First pitch. Tune in. Bucks tonight against the Nuggets. Giannis and Dame are both out. Dame's out for probably the rest of the season. Giannis is out tonight. So you're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is the Wisconsin Whistle. I'm your host, Dan Vachalek. I forgot to play the outro. Again, this is the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Dan Vachalek, a.k.a. Dyhard. Follow me at Dyhard on Twitter. D-Y-H-A-R-D. You won't find me if you actually spell out die. Or you can follow the account page. I also tweet from there at W-I-S-C Whistle I-E-S-R. That's again W-I-S-E Whistle I-E-S-R on Twitter. Thanks for listening. We'll see how the Bucks do tonight. I'm out.